On arriving in Puerto Rico and mixing with delegates for the ICCA Congress 2012, it was clear something special was taking place. That's because the event brings together the cream of the global meetings industry to learn and network in a wonderfully convivial and inspiring environment. I asked ICCA CEO Martin Cirque why Puerto Rico was chosen for this year's event.
There was a very good business case put for how we could attract delegates from North America, from Latin America, how we could start to encourage the development of a stronger meetings industry in the Caribbean and in Central America, where it's not so well developed. And actually we've got good delegate numbers from all those areas, some good observers, people who are interested in ICCA from Dominican Republic, Guatemala, Honduras, so places which would not come to the Congress if we were in Asia or in Europe. And that's very important. But also we've still got a very worldwide group of people here. It's now about 715 delegates from 64 countries. Big crowd from China, from Korea, from Australia, of course, always. They travel pretty much everywhere. But also good, strong European representation as well. So it's a typical ICCA Congress, a worldwide gathering of leaders.
Martin, I'm quite confused because this is the 51st ICCA Congress, and yet next year in Shanghai, you're celebrating ICCA's 50th anniversary. Explain.
There's a very simple explanation. When this small group of travel agents back in 1963 got together to set up ICCA and create the idea of ICCA, they needed more than one General Assembly in a couple of the years in order to set the organisation up on a legal footing. And so that's where the counting started, and we've carried on now. So here we are in the 49th year at the 51st Congress. Very simple.
So next year in Shanghai, I bet that's going to be some party.
Not so much a party, is that the whole year is actually going to be a celebration of ICCA's 50th. And not just looking back at where we've come from and the foundations and the whole kind of mission of the organisation, but really trying to use that as an opportunity to look forward and to re-engage with the members and make them feel proud of belonging to an organisation which has got such deep roots and at the same time has stayed true to the original mission and the thoughts of the founders. And that was, I mean, back in '63, these international medical congresses, association meetings, they were a new phenomenon. They were built on the back of cheap jet travel, and they wanted to swap business with each other and share information which in most fields is kept confidential. And that is still the bedrock of ICCA today. Our database is built by the data that our members share with us about events which are rotating and moving around the world in the international association sphere.
With the cream of the meetings industry here in Puerto Rico at the moment, what are the key talking points?
The good thing about the ICCA Congress is that they tend to focus on the positive side, what's working, new marketing ideas, new partnership models, new ways of boosting delegates, because the international association sector of the industry remains the most resilient. There are hundreds of new events being created. We identified 950 newly existing association meetings in the last 12 months, which are rotating between a minimum of 3 countries. So it's being driven by innovation in science, in technology, in medicine, and this sector is critical for many destinations, venues and meetings management companies in terms of their mix. I mean, we all know that a lot of corporate meetings business has really taken a hard hammering over the last few years, and that's a very volatile market. It bounces up and down and can be cut at any moment. What we know on the association side is they almost never cancel their meetings. And even though they're struggling much more in terms of raising revenue from sponsors or exhibitors, the delegate numbers are generally holding up okay. And it's a sector with a lot of optimistic and good positive business news.
Martin, thanks for talking to us.
Paul Woodward, President of Global Exhibition Association UFI, ran a seminar at this year's Congress. I asked him why the event was so important.
It's a great opportunity for us to meet a lot of different organisations. Some of them actually are UFI members already, but a lot of organisations involved in slightly different aspects of the events industry who come together, and we find it very interested to hear about what's going on in the exhibitions world. I'm interested in finding out what's going more on in the congresses and international meetings world. So it's a good opportunity for us really to forge closer ties.
Paul Woodward, thanks for talking to us.
One of the key events at the ICCA Congress is the election of the President. I spoke to Arnaldo Nardone to find out why he'd been re-elected for another 2 years.
Well, I think it's really important to be re-elected for the next 2 years. We have a lot of new ideas and we have many actions running on the field that we have to finish with our team. We have a very good board team. An example, just 1 month ago we have opened the 2 new offices in Johannesburg for Africa and the other one in Dubai for all Middle East. These are 2 big challenges that we have to continue working on, and at the same time the numbers of our membership is growing fast, so we have to improve our services like as we are doing now at the moment. But for sure in the next 2 years one of my main ideas is to improve our communication with the clients, especially associations. If we are experts in the association market, we need to be in contact. Nowadays we are in contact with 7,000 associations on a monthly basis, but we want to improve the communication with them. Example, one of the ideas that we are developing is the portal for associations. That is, it will be a channel where associations can be communicating between them. They can exchange experiences, they can see how bidding process are being on the field and how they can interact to get more results and more return on investment for their own events. I think that this is one of the most important actions that in the next 2 years we have to develop.
How excited are you about next year and ICCA's 50th anniversary, especially as the Congress next year is in China?
Well, Shanghai is really important for us. Asia is a really strong market. They are developing big investments in infrastructure, but at the same time they are hungry of knowledge. I have been there in 2011 in 3 different destinations in China, including Shanghai, and I could see the importance that the Chinese are giving to the meeting industry in terms not only of the business itself, also because they want to align most of their economic strategies with the meeting industry, and that is very clever. But for ICCA it's really important because Asia, it's a new market not only for Asia, also for the rest of the world. We have to improve the regional meetings and to make it bigger, and we have to push the Chinese doctors and scientists and university teachers to get good positions in the association boards, to share and to improve the business for the whole world.
Arnaldo Nardone, thanks very much for talking to us.
Puerto Rico has certainly proved a fantastic destination for this year's Congress, and we look forward to seeing you next year for the 50th anniversary in Shanghai. I'm Ian Whiteling from Meeting the World.